Hello, my name is SmallBizDavid, and welcome to day 5 of Global Entrepreneurship Week. I'm not going to talk too much about Global Entrepreneurship Week. In this particular HOA, I've done it all week long in the about almost 10 HOAs I have done, so you can go back to one of those to get more information about Global Entrepreneurship Week. But today is a very special one. Special in that I am going to be talking with a very unique individual with unique characteristics and very unusually strong entrepreneurial characteristics. Although she probably is too modest to to talk about that, but I have to tell you that there are so many facets to Sheila Strover that it was kind of challenging for me to focus on something about entrepreneurial and Global Entrepreneurship Week. But we found something. We're going to get into it in a moment. Sheila, welcome. I want to throw at you a quotation and let you comment on that. I read by a wonderful entrepreneur recently. They made the quotation, "Never stop learning." How would you comment about that? Of course, it was you that said that.
Never stop learning. Well, I think you're in the same category as I am age-wise. So we both still keep on learning. And I think that if you gain the sort of first person who made Never Stop Learning popular was the 7 habits of highly successful people, where the last habit was sharpen the saw. So I don't deliberately sharpen the saw, but it just is something that I habitually do every day. I'm always trying a new app or trying a new technique or doing something different. So.
And you possess, among many other entrepreneurial characteristics, something that Jess Dua and I spoke about yesterday, and that's the concept of curiosity. That you are a very curious person, and that I guess that curiosity blends very well with never stop learning. I mean, we're always in a quest, and I have personally made a commitment, Sheila, to myself that I will not go to sleep at night or end my day, if you will, until I've learned something new that day. And it's not that difficult to learn something new every day. You just have to have the desire to do it. I want to take a moment too, Sheila, and make a personal comment, which I don't often do in HOA, specifically when I'm talking about entrepreneurship and small business. But I want to take this opportunity to publicly thank you for the wonderful information and direction that you have given me for almost 7 weeks now. No, actually, it's over 7 weeks. My surgery was 6 weeks ago yesterday.
Wow.
And so that our anybody viewing might understand, a couple months ago, my knee started to disturb me in some pain. It was particularly painful because I'm an exercise instructor and I wasn't able to adequately do my exercise because of the pain in my knee. And Sheila, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you. I probably haven't, but you and I we have known one another a la the internet for a couple years now. And I've always, most of our discussions and interaction, not most, all of our discussions and interactions up until 7 weeks ago were kind of entrepreneurial and talking about small business in various aspects. When I shared with a friend about what was going on with my knee, they said, they just right out of their mouth, they said, "Have you spoken to Sheila yet?" And there was this light bulb went on. I said, "My goodness, she's the knee guru. I need to." And it was literally in the next 30 seconds. That's when I got online with you the first time to get your guidance. But I want to thank you because you did such a wonderful job. And number one, getting me prepared for what was going to be happening to me. offering me another opinion. And we spoke about how important in medicine a second opinion can be. And you provided me with a plethora of information and sources and YouTubes and reading. And as I had to smile as I was reading your Google Plus profile. That's what you do. That's exactly what you do. Your position. Well, let me ask you the question: why do you do what you do? Let's ask it that way.
I don't know why I'm still doing it.
Yes,
but
you are. Yes, you know why you're still doing it.
I started
you love it.
because I was actually quite shocked when we started doing training courses in the 80s to find that patients were being, at that stage, damaged by doctors who were inadequately trained in the field of what was then something new, which was arthroscopic surgery, keyhole surgery. So I became, at that stage, a patient advocate, really. But I think I've stayed in there just because when you become knowledgeable about something, it becomes increasingly intriguing. So you get down to smaller and smaller and smaller compartments, and every time you open the envelope in the next compartment, you find something new. So I think now it's just curiosity, as you say. It's just interest and curiosity, and I don't like to waste what I've learned. It may as well be put to good use. But well, I do sometimes wonder about knitting.
in doing so, you have demonstrated something that certainly medical professionals don't do. They're in their basically in their own world of science. But what you have done extraordinarily well is having a handle and a grasp on marketing. I mean, unlike any other medical professional I have ever seen. You go to your website. Your website is top notch, just done extremely well, doing exactly what you want it to do. Recently, you created a course on Udemy about just educating folks about the knee, and you have an extraordinary characteristic of being able to market and do it in the highest level that really I've ever seen. And thank you for doing that. And I heartily recommend folks to not only go to Sheila's site to see how she does it, but to say, wow, maybe I should be taking the same approach in how I've designed myself and how I branded myself. You've done a tremendous job of branding. Well, you don't get any better than KneeGuru, do you? And did I read, you first started branding yourself as KneeGuru in what year? Or how long ago, I should say?
I think it was about 1995, something like that.
So it's, I mean, you were doing a great job on branding as an individual before it became fashionable to take on branding, and so thank you for that.
I was a bit of a late starter to the business world in general because I was in medicine, and then I left active practice and I started to work as a manager in the clinic that my husband was wanting to develop. And I just didn't have any managerial knowledge or skills at all. So I accepted some public money that was going around at that time in the Margaret Thatcher days to go to college and train. And I did training in computing and spreadsheets and desktop publishing and things that were all the rage at the time. And eventually I actually went back to university at the age of 46 and did an MBA for a year. And that was when my eyes were open to the way business models ought to be developed and followed. So I think that was the beginning of my dual life, where I wasn't just a medic, but I was a medic with a particular business interest at the same time.
You've done a marvelous job with it. I want to do something here, and this is going to be the entrepreneurial lesson for today. On Monday, when we launched, we did our launch of Global Entrepreneurship Week. One of the things that I did was I quoted my major mentor, although I've only met him once in my lifetime, and we went one-on-one for a half hour. But I've read not everything that he's written. He's written over 75 books, I believe, but I've written a lot of what he has done and followed him. And actually, he's become active in Google Plus in the last couple years. But anyways, the gentleman's name is Brian Tracy, and I've learned so much from him, both in my personal life as well as my business life. So I call him my life coach and my business coach. But he wrote a newsletter several years ago. I've read it probably once every year. I read it. He repurposes it, and I want to go through. He talks about entrepreneurship is the art of finding profitable solutions to problems. Every successful entrepreneur or business person has been able to identify a problem and come up with a solution to it before someone else did. Okay, here are the 5 rules for success. I want to go over each one of those 5 rules. I would like you to comment on them and then apply them to your own life, so it becomes a good case study for it. Rule number 1: find. Well, this isn't going to be an easy one for you. Find a need and fill it.
Find a niche or a knee. Find a niche.
Beautiful. I'm going to have to write that down. Beautiful. I guess in your case, find a need. Yeah. Find a need and fill it.
Find a need. Okay.
Would you like to comment on that?
Well, I think as a patient, the need of patients for information is still not being filled. I think doctors are doing a better job now. But you know how hard it is to actually ask the questions at your interview with the doctor, because you don't know what questions you want to ask at that stage, because you don't know what's going on. And then, the door is closed and you walk out of the consultation room and you don't have anything tangible. You don't have necessarily a diagnosis, a booklet, a video. It's getting better, and over the 20 years, I've seen that improve quite a bit. But when I used to be in the clinic and I wasn't in the consulting room, I was on the outside, patients used to come out with their eyes wide, and they'd say, "I don't know what he meant. I don't know what he said." And I'd say, "Well, go back in and ask again." "Oh, I can't do that. My 15 minutes is up." And then I would sit down for 25 minutes and try and work out what I think he might have said while they were in there. And I think that, that's a need. Patients need to come out, because it's so overwhelming. They need to come out with a piece of paper saying, "This is what I said," or a recording or a video. And they can go back and show it to their family and say, "This is what the doctor said." You can hear him, you can see him. So I think all this video stuff could actually be used to very good effect in the consulting room. Just switch something on and record the consultation and then say, "Look, you may not understand everything, but here's the recording. Phone me tomorrow or phone my nurse." So I think that's a big...
And you're absolutely right. And it's so simple with today's technology to do that. It is so simple. It was more challenging when you first started talking about it and first started thinking about it, but we do it on our phones. We do it, whatever.
You can do it with you wouldn't want to obviously use a medium that's public, but it's very easy to do a private recording in a consulting room, even if it's just a voice recording. It's dead simple.
Sure. And you're absolutely right. Why don't medical professionals, because they know the patient's not going to ask all the questions. They know that. And why don't they have something prepared for them, a video? Well, then the other side of the argument, I guess, is And you can do this pretty well, even while you were directing me and things of my concern. You said, Dave, there's a YouTube out there. Go watch this YouTube. Somebody else has done the work. So that's find a need and felt. Now, the second thing he talks about relates real closely to the third. I'll differentiate it a little bit by what he says. But number two is find a problem and solve it. Number one, you're finding a need and filling it. Number two, you're finding a problem and solving it. And he says, wherever there's widespread and unsolved customer problem, there is an opportunity for you to start to build a successful business. I think you've demonstrated that pretty well. Maybe with your Udemy courses, maybe that's a good case study for this particular point. What do you think? Okay. His third point is unlimited opportunities. Do you view the world with unlimited opportunities?
Yeah, I think that, again, when you drill into a topic, you could see a million places where, a good entrepreneur could actually take the problem and run with it. But I'm trying to reduce my probabilities now, so that I'm at the age of my life where I have to think of succession and building something robust for my colleagues to follow when I'm not there anymore, because I wouldn't like to see my project die.
Absolutely not. You raise a really interesting point too. You have created a system, a concept, a process where it would have some value to somebody else who wouldn't have to start all over and build it up if, in fact, they are knee folks. That's their niche interest. So you've built a concept, a marketing. You've built a business that you could sell if the right individual, were there at the right time. I don't know if it's in the UK or I don't know if it's in the United States or where it might be, but it certainly
It probably should have been a charitable venture in the beginning. And I burnt my fingers on a charitable foundation that my ex-husband and I created, a charitable trust to train these people in knee surgery. But in fact, we found that the bureaucracy of running a charity was overwhelming.
Interesting.
It put me off forever, that I wouldn't want to do it again. But that's what I should have done.
So that was in the UK that you did that?
Yeah. Just the fact that the moment that you decide, oh, this wonderful thing we created, we're going to make it a non-profit, immediately you're not allowed to be on the board of trustees, because they imagine that you might take something out of it because you've got the controls, where in fact you've given your life to it. You're not likely to want to take anything out. But then you've got to go and find a board of trustees, and the problem is that the board you find know nothing about the topic anyway. So then you've got to start educating the board, and just the whole thing becomes ridiculous. So I never went that route, which is...
I wonder if that's unique to the UK, or is that the way that generally nonprofits are run anywhere, no matter where they are?
I think probably you have more experience, and you go and create the nonprofit without knowing too much about your business. That's probably the best way to do it. And then you can stand back and let a board of trustees develop, and you can let the systems develop. But we already had buttoned up. We were the entrepreneurs. We had invented something that didn't exist at the time, being a private specialist clinic, and we just found the process very hard. The charity is still there and it still operates, but the moment it developed charitable status, we actually, to some extent, lost interest. We wanted to go and make another one and make it different. So.
Actually, it's kind of interesting. Tomorrow, an HOA that I'm doing is going to be about a new nonprofit. So the individuals who are setting it up. They're the ones I'm going to be talking to tomorrow.
I think a new nonprofit is the right approach, but if you're already heavily into something, to suddenly create a nonprofit out of it, I think is not an easy step.
Actually, it was something I wanted to investigate. It was kind of a business objective of mine in 2015 that certainly was not achieved by myself, and I was looking to potentially create a nonprofit foundation for all the stuff that I'm doing, and try to throw it into that foundation. But now you've given me some things to think about, Sheila. Thank you. Some business things to think about. Okay, point number 4 is I know what your answer is going to be. Focus on the customer, and in your case, the customers were really the patients, and they were patients that needed more information, and that was going to be your objective, to get them more information and head them down the right path, and not only get them the right information, but keep yourself open to questions that they might have, which is also extremely important, because it's one thing to say, okay, read this, and this, but it's another thing to say, okay, I'm going to also make myself available so that you can ask me the questions if you don't understand something that you're reading. And I'm kind of interested to see how you might talk about this 5th point, his last one, and all the various things that you have done in your life. He says, number 5, bootstrap your way to success.
Yeah, I'm a bootstrapper.
You are a good bootstrapper. Well, you and I need to talk, because I think I'm one of the best bootstrappers ever, Sheila. I don't like to spend money. I'm
surprised that he says bootstrap your way to success, because I thought that successful entrepreneurs do the opposite, actually.
Yes and no. Well, let me read what he says about it. Once you have come up with a problem or ideas, resolve to invest your time, talent, and energy instead of your money to get started. So really all he's saying is put yourself into it before you put a lot of money into it. And maybe that's what investors into a business are really looking at today too. They're willing to make the investment, but they want to see certain things in place before they do it. Then the only one that can put them in place is the entrepreneur, the innovator, the one with the idea. Yeah, they wouldn't do a very good job if right out of the chute that they were hiring somebody to do that for them. They need to do it. It's their idea, their innovation. Okay, and as a summary statement to what Brian says, his action exercises. This is one thing I like about him. Not only does he, talk about conceptual type things, but he always has an action exercise to do, and that kind of pulls it all together. Look for business opportunities everywhere. Develop an entrepreneurial mindset, and continually be open and curious. Oh, he uses the word curious, and I didn't realize that. And curious about the needs not satisfied and problems not solved. One idea is all you need to make your first million. Well said, Brian Tracy. Although I have to say, in my particular case, it's never really, money has not been a motivator for me, Sheila. What's motivated me is setting a goal, an objective, very specific, very defined, and achieving it. And if money came along with it, that's great. We do need to eat, and we do need to do certain things in life. So money. I'm not saying, money is not an important thing, but it was never my driving force to do the things that I've done. So I've been very blessed with what I've been able to do in my lifetime, as you have also. We've done the things that we wanted to do, not so much the things that we had to do. And that's a great place to be. Well, I want to thank you. Is there a summary statement that you would like to make today, Sheila?
No, I'd like to thank you, David, for following through, because this is the second time we've spoken on an HOA where I've been the guest, and thank you for that.
I'll have to go back to the first time and compare the notes. Was that? Did you do something with me 2 years ago during Global Entrepreneurship Week?
A long time ago, yeah.
I'll have to
got to know me better since then.
Oh, well, and once again, I want to, yes, I want to publicly thank you for all the great information that you gave me. You are probably one of the first medical professionals that I've listened to, Sheila, and not only listened to, but took action. And it was funny, you were the one that told me early on. I mean, I started doing it the day after surgery. Was what's it called? The manipulation of your kneecap.
Patella mobilization.
Patella mobilization. Interestingly enough, it was last Friday when I went to a physical therapist, and that was the first time that anybody in my therapy sessions, and that was my fourth session that I went to, was the first time it was ever mentioned. And I said, wow, I've been doing this since the day after surgery because Dr. Sheila told me that's what I should do. Well, I want to thank you for that, and thank you for your time today. And if there's anything that that I can do in terms of marketing and sales, please don't hesitate to call on me, because you've been there when I called upon you to help me out. So I want to return the favor any way I can. Thank you. And if you've entered our Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google Plus community for the first time today, welcome. I hope you will come back again. I hope you will challenge me with things that you expected to hear today and didn't, or things that you heard today and you would like to take issue with, or you have further questions. Please do not hesitate to contact me directly, and we will have an interaction. I promise you that. You can Google SmallBizDavid, and although I don't know how the search engine is working these days, there's so many changes, but if you Google SmallBizDavid, all one word, you'll probably find as much information as you need to find your way to me. And or you can email me, david@dreamingwithentrepreneurs.com. And Sheila, I will put in our event stream, or if you want to, why don't you put in the event stream the best way, or how you want people to contact you, and
Sure.
put your website address in there. And keep up the great work. You've done a world of good for me. I got to tell you, my range of motion is getting better and better every day. You know what I did today, Sheila?
Yeah.
One of the things that my therapist last week wanted me to do was he put me on a machine, and I was walking backwards with some resistance, which was good. I mean, I could feel the good work it was doing. But then he told me to get on a treadmill and go reverse on a treadmill, which I did. And the trainer in the room where I was saw me when I was doing that, questioned me, well, why are you doing that? It's not very safe what you're doing. And in fact, it isn't really safe if you're going reverse on a treadmill. So at any rate, when I got home today, I walked up my driveway. I've got a driveway with an incline about like that. I walked up backwards. I walked up my driveway backwards. Wasn't I doing the same thing that they wanted me to do?
Pretty much.
And I had that incline also. So I'm going to go out there before it starts raining and snowing this weekend. I'm going to go out about 25 times, just go up and down my driveway backwards. I don't know if I want to go down my driveway backwards. I certainly can go up it more safely.
You'll probably have your neighbors calling the medics
police
to come in,
or the police.
pick up this man who backwards up.
What's this crazy person doing out there? Okay, well, thank you very much, Sheila, and I'll see you, and we'll see our folks, our audience, our followers the next time, which may very well be the best time. See you then.
Thank you.